Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Rhino Toolhouse presentation. We're doing a Tool University here to continue on with our virtual demonstrations. I'm just going to allow for 10 to 30 seconds just for everyone to get logged in, and then we'll get started here. All right, let's get going. Guys, my name is Matt Jordahl. I'm the sales engineer up in Minnesota. And today we have a special vendor today. We've got Steve Neutz. He's our area sales rep with Desoutter. And yeah, we're bringing you guys another virtual series to continue on the last 6-7 weeks we've been doing this. We've hoped that you guys have found these events to be educational, informative, and just fun and a good way to connect during these times. So a little bit about Rhino Toolhouse. So our mission statement is really to identify and deliver the world's most innovative industrial solutions. And I think today you're really going to see a product and a solution that's going to really fit into those values. So today's topic is almost like a two-part topic. It's a really unique topic where we get a lot of customers that come to us and ask, about torque reaction, about safety. How do we keep our workers' safety with higher torque applications? And so we're going to be introducing an electric pulse technology from Desoutter. It's a different technology than, say, a traditional pulse tool that uses either hydraulic oil or a mechanical mechanism. And the other part of our series today is we're going to be talking about Industry 4.0 and how do we use data collection to become better as a manufacturing environment. So I know you've heard of Industry 4.0. There's different levels of familiarity with Industry 4.0 and data collection. Just to give you guys a quick analogy of that, it's probably something that you guys already use in your day-to-day lives. This past weekend, I went biking and I actually tracked my workout using my Apple Watch. I'm sure either you guys have either heard of Apple Watches or have them, or Fitbits or other wearable devices where you're able to track workouts or track bike rides. But I was able to track my GPS coordinates. I was able to track how fast I was going, my time. And what that allows me to do is to go back after my bike ride and say, here's where I am at today, and how can I get better? How can I improve my time? How can I go farther? How can I to have a better bike experience, basically? So that's kind of an analogy where we're applying that to assembly, and we're tracking our torque values or angles. We're tracking all these key metrics that we care about when we're looking at an assembly environment. And that really applies to this solution that we're going to talk to you guys about today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Steve Neutz from Desoutter, and he'll walk through the demos and get into more of the technicality.
Sounds good. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate the introduction. Again, I'm Steve Neutz, Area Sales Manager from Desoutter Tools for the Upper Midwest. And again, I just want to thank Rhino Toolhouse, the Rhino Toolhouse team, for inviting me to introduce the ePulse technology and talk a little bit more about the Connect. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy during this time. I know for me, I typically travel 2-3 nights away from home out of the week. And I think I'm on day 45 straight of being home, which is not typical. And the rare occasions that I have left during this time, my kids will actually ask me, "Dad, where are you going?" So it's the new norm is now for me to not be leaving. Again, hopefully at some point this whole virus situation comes to an end and we can resume our daily lives as normal. But again, thank you, Rhino Toolhouse, for the invitation. So quick agenda, we're going to give a broad overview on the Connect. We're going to talk about ePulse technology. We're going to talk a little bit about the inline EABS tool. And then we'll transition to our Rock Hill, South Carolina facility where Russ Hughes will showcase our high torque multiplier tools. So before I get into it, the Connect, which we launched in October of 2018 at the Assembly Show, the ecosystem of the Connect is ever expanding. It's very exciting times at Desoutter. We're adding battery clutch tools, so Wi-Fi enabled battery clutch tools. We're adding virtual tags or virtual cables. to our tools, where it's zone control for the tool itself. That's something we'll get into at a later date, I think another Tool U event. But again, just wanted to talk about some latest innovations that Desoutter is coming out with. So let's talk a little bit more about the Connect. So right here, this box here, that's our Connect, Industrial Smart Hub. So you'll see the antennas here. This is our Connect W, which Wi-Fi. It has an internal access point inside this Connect, where we can run up to 10 tools or tightening units, as we call it. And again, when we say 10 tools or 10 tightening units, it's 10 tools, 10 operators doing 10 different things, all simultaneous, okay? There's another version of the Connect as well, called the Connect X, where we would plug this into your plant Wi-Fi network, or we could plug in an industrial grade access point right at the station. But saying that, we can double the capacity of tools. We can go from 10 tools to 20 tools on the Connect X. So again, 20 tools, 20 operators doing 20 different things, all simultaneous, okay? Now saying that, we can even go one step farther with the Connect W. We can disable the embedded access point and then still run that through your plant network and then have up to 20 tools connected to it. So it gives you some great flexibility. If you have IT or Wi-Fi infrastructure that might not be the most stable, we do have a backup system in place for you, okay? Also, you'll see during this presentation, I do have the Connect screen right up on the TV right next to me. We're using what's called a VNC viewer, just so I know it's really difficult to see the front of the Connect. So now let's get into the e-pulse technology. So right here, this is a 25 Newton meter tool, very lightweight. It's 3 pounds with the battery, but very high speeds. You can program up to 2,350 RPMs. And again, that is programmable via our CVI config software, which you can download for free on DesoutterTools.com. But again, 25 Newton meter, but 2 key points to take away from this today. Fully transducerized tool. So we use the same strain gauge technology that we use in all of our DC tools with this e-pulse platform, okay? That's a main key one to keep in mind. Also, we use no hydraulic oil, no hydraulic oil. This is a mechanical gearbox, and we use current, we pulse the motor. So if you take anything out of today, 2 things, fully transducerized and no oil, okay? So now I'm just gonna do a quick rundown with this tool to showcase some of the other features with the tool itself. So you'll see we give the operator full 360-degree view of the result of the torquing result. So you can see on the side of the tool, I know it's a little bit difficult to see, we show a green light on the side, on the right side, the left side, and we also show a torque and angle output on the display itself. And if you can see the LEDs on the front, within 5 seconds after the last rundown is complete, it will go back to white, but we will actually illuminate the red light or green light, we prefer green lights obviously, right onto the part itself. So again, we give that operator the full 360-degree view as far as what happened during that tightening process, okay? Now, at this point, I want to do a comparison between a direct drive tool and our e-pulse technology. So what I have here is a 17 Newton meter direct drive tool. It's our EPBC series, and I have it programmed for 14 Newton meters. The e-pulse tool I also have programmed to 14 Newton meters, and I just want to show you comparison between what the torque reaction looks like on a direct drive tool versus the e-pulse. You can kind of see that was a little bit of a whip on my wrist there. I'm gonna do it one more time just so you can see it. So it gave me that sudden jerk, that twisting reaction. If I was an operator, I would definitely not want to do that all day, every day with that type of application. Now on the same joint, I'm gonna use our 25 Newton meter e-pulse tool. And you can see that was minimal to really no torque reaction that I felt there. Now, what I just showed you is really not a fair comparison. With all of our direct drive tools at Desoutter, we do have the ability to program a lot of that torque reaction out. We have some algorithms that we have within CVI config, again, which is our programming software, that we can mitigate a lot of that torque reaction. But I set it up kind of crude and rudimentary just to really show that torque reaction on the direct drive tool. But again, keep in mind, we can mitigate a lot of torque reaction even on a direct drive tool. So now let's transition to the 25 Newton meter tools, big brother. It is a 45 Newton meter tool. Same technology as the 25, fully transducerized again. And it is a mechanical gearbox. We use no hydraulic oil. Again, I know I'm belaboring that point, but those are very key points you need to remember from today. So on top of that, I've also programmed, excuse me, what's called an assembly process within the Connect. So if you're familiar with a process control system like Pivotware, not all customers at this point in time have the budgets maybe to implement a full-blown process control solution. We do have a lot of capability within the Connect to program, again, what's called an assembly process or a process for the operator. So what I have, or there are actually two key points for an assembly process. We have what's called start conditions. So a start condition can be barcode scans. So in this case, I have 2 barcodes. Another start condition could be a 24-volt input. Another start condition could be, field bus. But again, in this case, I'm using barcode scans as my identifiers or my start conditions. So if I can ask my lovely assistant to blow that screen up. Perfect. So I'm going to scan 1 of 2, or actually 2 of 2 barcode scans, but you can see at this point, the tool is not active, right? I scan the first one, which in that case, I called it a job number. And the second one is called the VIN number. Now the tool is active. But one thing I want to point out, and I'll get a little bit closer here, I programmed the blue LED on the tool an output once the tool was enabled. So it gives the operator that visual feedback that says, okay, yep, the tool is active now. I can go through the process. Now, another thing, now we're showing the front end of the front screen of the Connect itself. I'm showing the assembly actions, or what we call a little pie chart, or what we call an ellipse. So you can see here, I have 2 steps in my assembly process. So I'm going to do my first rundown here. You can see what that looks like. 1/2 of my pie chart filled in. And I'm going to fill it. I'm going to run the tool one more time. And you can see I've completed my assembly process. So again, it's a very basic assembly process, but it gives you the idea of the kind of process control that we can do with the assembly process. So now at this point, the tool is dead. The blue LED output light is off. And at this point, the operator would wait till the next vehicle or assembly would come into station, and they would scan the barcodes again to move off onto the next assembly. But before I transition over to a different technology, again, one more time, I know you have it memorized at this point, but 2 key points: fully transducerized tool and no oil. We use a mechanical gearbox. So again, transducer and no oil. Now, one more thing before I send it off to Russ Hughes in Rock Hill. If you recall, during a Tool U event, they showcased the EABS, which is our one-hand nut runner, right angle tool, which again won the 2019 Assembly Product of the Year at the Assembly Show. What we did is we came up with a custom tool where we actually took the right angle head off and we put an inline head on. So if you have a lot of handheld applications where you're using pistol grip or right angle tools, but you have more traditional, I'll say assembly bench style assemblies, where we can put this tool, the inline version of the EABS, into articulating or linear torque arm, and then go that way as well. So again, that's not a standard product yet. It will be later this year, but it is available for purchase at this time. I think at this point, I'm going to transition over to Russ Hughes in our Rock Hill, South Carolina facility. And Russ Hughes is our product marketing manager for Cordless Tools. Russ, you there?
Pardon the interruption. Hey, Russ, can you check your microphone, please?
Is this better?
Loud and clear. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I want to thank Steve for that introduction, and thank you to Rhino Tool House for the opportunity to present our high torque battery tool line today. As Steve mentioned, we are using our standard EPBC tool with a torque multiplier on it. It's available in pistol grip tools, as I have here, as well as a right angle tool. We go up to 4,000 Newton meters through the range. It is a swing bar type technology, so that the reaction bar does need to react on something, so no torque is delivered to the operator. The accuracy on this is plus or minus 5%, and it's an extremely capable tool. It's really meant as a finishing tool, something where your customer would want to get some data on a large tractor wheel, a big piece of construction equipment, or in the aerospace industry as well. So they would start out with a traditional high torque tool to run it down if they want to finish it and get some data. This is where this tool would actually come into play. So this set up to run 1,000 inch-pounds. And as Steve did, I have the mirror image of my connector on the screen, if you can see that, where we're mirroring that. So we can run this down for 1,000 inch-pounds, and it registered 999.7. So again, it's a high torque swing bar tool, so the front end does pivot, so the operator can move it into position rather easily. It's available in a pistol grip tool, it's fully transducerized. The batteries on our cordless tools, all of our batteries can go on multiple positions for operator access and balance. And that is the same for our right angle tools as well. So we can have a battery come in from the back or in the front for better balance. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Steve. And I'd like to thank everybody for the time.
Yeah, thanks again, Steve. Russ, thanks for that. I think at this time, we'll open it up to any questions, and we can address those at this time.
All right, guys. Well, while they're trying to figure out the camera, since we do still have audio, I'm going to proceed because we do have a couple of questions coming in.
Great.
So first of all, how many tools can you connect to a single connect?
So just to reiterate, that's a great question. So there are two versions of the Connect. The Connect W, which has the internal access point in it. You see the antennas on it. That can do 10 tools. And then the Connect X, which we would require a plant network or a local area access point plugged directly into it. With that, we could do 20. So it really depends upon the customer needs, but we do have two different versions, but the maximum would be 20 tools. It's a great question.
Awesome. All right, next question. What are the different style tools that you can use with the Connect? Hey, Russ, if you're still on, would you mind answering that question?
Absolutely, I am still on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Excellent. Could you repeat the question? Was it the different styles of tools?
Yeah, yes. What different style tools can you use with the Connect?
That's a good question. Any of our transducerized tools can be connected, obviously. We also have a battery clutch tool. So if you have any opportunities to where you want to start collecting data from a battery type tool where you just want an okay, not okay, we can do that with our Elite Wi-Fi tool, as well as our wireless torque wrenches.
Awesome. Question here. So Patrick says we're running our company network with a Connect W. One of the common complaints is the need to wake up the tool after it's sitting idle for several minutes. I have found that the only way to wake up the tool is to pull the battery and reinstall it. Is this normal?
No, it depends on the battery saving options that are set up in CVI config. By default, I think it's set up to 5 minutes, but you could extend that out or turn it off altogether. But it's a setting in CVI config that this is changed in.
Perfect. I know we can't see her right now, but we did have a question. Is the tool on the right, on the articulating arm, a straight tool?
Yes, that is an inline version of the EABS tool. So it is a straight tool.
Perfect. And then what is the max torque available on the impact torque guns?
I'm assuming we're referring to the BLRTC, the pulse tool. Right now it's 25 newton meters, and we do have a 45 newton meter tool that Steve was talking about. So it's up to 45 newton meters today.
Awesome. Russ, what is the max distance a Wi-Fi tool can be located from the Connect W? Is the line of sight required?
It's about 100 feet if you're using the internal access point that we have, and that can be extended if you need it to be. And depending on how the tool is set up, once the tool loses connection, you can have the tool lock out, or if it loses connection, you can allow the tool to finish its assembly process. And then once the connection is reestablished, all the data is then sent back to the Connect.
Awesome. And then another question from Patrick. If we are running multiple TU on a Connect W, can we get a display screen at each station showing the result for just the tool or tools at that station? The
Absolutely.
Tool is just kind
We
of
have what we call Desoutter Site that'll be available in July. And that'll allow you to look at each individual tightening unit. That'll be available in several models. We have a 15-inch model, a 7-inch model, or a hardware module to plug into your existing HMI screen.
Perfect. Can a barcode scanner be added or integrated to the Wi-Fi tools?
Absolutely. All of our pistol grip tools have an accessory you can mount on there for a barcode scanner. The right angle tools, as long as you order the E-Link version, it has the same adapter as well.
Awesome. And we'll just give it a couple more seconds here if anyone has any other questions.
Ari, can you hear us in Minnesota again?
Yes, we can.
Okay. We had some technical difficulties, but thank you, Russ, for helping out as we went through those difficulties. But any other questions?
Nope, it looks like we are all
Okay.
set with the questions. So I'll send it back to you, Dave.
Well, great, guys. Well, hopefully this seminar was helpful for you guys. Hopefully you learned something from today. We have 2 more events that we're going to be hosting throughout this week. Tomorrow we'll be focusing on preventing falls of any operators that are working in heights of over 4 feet with Corbell's fall arrest tether track. And then we'll have another one on Friday with advanced manipulators discussing some manipulator options. So definitely take a look at those and tune into those. Those will be some great events. Yeah, and then with that, just thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.